All right, this is my first one for today. It says, I'm new at Calvary Chapel. I went Sunday night for the first time. I have social anxiety and I don't get comfortable talking with people until after meeting them a couple times. What is something you would say or advice for new people coming in who are extremely extroverted like me?
You mean introverted, is what you're saying?
Yeah, introverted.
Yeah. You know what? I want to be kind to you. You need to understand that I'm introverted too. I don't act that way. But if it's a social function, I like to stand in the back. I'm not necessarily a guy who likes to get out front, unless I'm forced to. And that's just kind of my deal. When people come over, for example, to my house, I'm usually the one barbecuing, and I like that because I can quietly barbecue. And I'm serving people and stuff like that, and I don't have to have long conversations with folks and that kind of stuff. So I understand your point of view, and I'm a guy who could, I could sit in a cave someplace and I'd be fine. So I'm coming at it from that point of view, and that's like who I am. Except for when I know people, well, then I'm totally extroverted, and I get into conversations with them, and I laugh and joke and that kind of stuff. But if I don't know you, I'm pretty quiet. Okay, so coming from that point of view, what you got to do is you got to get over yourself. You got to get past you and get past how you feel and that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that you need to change your personality totally, because, like I said, when I'm in a social setting, I'm usually pretty quiet unless somebody comes up and wants to talk to me, or if they need help, then I'll talk to them. And so this is what I've always done. I come to church. I used to come to church, sit in the back, listen to the Bible study, didn't know anybody, stand around for a little bit because I want to be polite to folks. And then I'd jet out to my car, right? And as I got to know people more, what ended up happening was I got into conversations with people, and I found that God would use me in those conversations because, they would talk to me about some problem or some issue, and I might have happened to have read about it in the Bible, or God had just taken me through something that applied to them. And it became a real natural thing that God would set me up with people who I could minister to because of the things that he'd done in me the previous week. And so I saw that as God, moving me out of my little bubble and getting me involved in ministry with those who were around me. And when that started taking place, I realized how self-focused I was, and I just decided, okay, when I go to church, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for opportunities to minister to others, and not just go to suck it in for myself. And God's always really blessed that, and it's something that I still have to work with in the sense that I don't I don't I kind of don't know how to put this. I don't think that I'm all that special, and I don't think that people actually need to hear what I have to say, even though I'm a pastor. It's the weirdest thing. And so, give you another story. When I was first a head pastor, one of the things that people do with pastors is they come up and ask questions, and they tell you their problems, that kind of stuff. And I can go through and give them the answers, but that is not all that they want. What they want is to see some compassion and some empathy, and maybe even have me pray for them. But my attitude was always, why would you come to me to have me pray for you? Because who am I? And that kind of stuff. And so, again, that's the introvert type of situation. And what I had to do was get over it. These people, I would have these awkward conversations with people where I'm talking to them, they're telling me their story, I give them the facts, ma'am, just the facts, and then basically go, how's that for you? Yeah, are you good? And they're kind of sitting there going, okay, and then they turn around and walk away. And I know what they wanted. What they wanted me to do was pray for them. And so that happened a couple of times, and I just went, you know what, you're so selfish, Steve. Just get over yourself and pray for them. And so that's what I started doing. And so now I do that all the time, and it's just become routine for me. Not routine in the sense that I just say some rote prayer or something because I mean it when I pray, but it's routine in the sense that I know what people are looking for from me. And so it's going to be the same thing with you. So what I would tell you to do is go to church not just to receive, but to give. Jesus said it's more blessed to give than to receive. Proverbs says a liberal soul will be made fat, and he who waters will be watered himself. And it's one of those things that God puts in our path so that we can grow in the Lord, and so that He can bless us. Being a Christian has been compared to being a pitcher of water, and so God pours the water of the Holy Spirit into your life, and you're like a pitcher. And if you're not pouring it out, then what's going to happen is that water is going to get green and gunky, right? But if you pour it out, then God refills you, and then you pour it out again, and God refills you, and you pour it out again, and God refills you, and it just becomes this thing where God is constantly growing you and blessing you, and that's what your life is supposed to be about as a Christian. And so that's what I would do. And again, I'm not saying that you need to change your personality totally, because I like introverted people. A lot of times when I'm talking to an introvert, I'll just draw them out a little bit because I know that they're people who are usually thinking, and a lot of times they'll have some interesting things to say. And so I'm not saying that you need to change your personality totally, but if you want to get past this, then you're going to have to get past yourself. And again, speaking from experience. So.
I talk about this routinely Sunday nights just because I'm built the same way, and we get together and pray like you do sometimes on Wednesday night and stuff. But people have to realize that Satan's an isolationist. He wants you by yourself. And I know this from personal experience, that if you don't take the time to get plugged in fellowship, not only do you not have the body working as it's supposed to, where you have the accountability and the people praying for you and the people pouring into you and all that stuff, but it's so much easier to bail and just be able to be by yourself and walk away. And then, if you're not involved, if you're not serving, you're not growing.
Yep.
And so all those things are so important. And it was the same thing with me, where it's like I was the guy that sat in the back, listened to the Bible study. I didn't even come for worship because I was like, well, I could take that or leave it.
Right.
The Bible study spoke to me. And I could sit in the back, listen to the study, leave, and not talk to anybody or get plugged in. And, the other side to that, and you said it, perfectly about not being mean about it or whatnot, but being on the other side and being in ministry now here, we try to do the best that we can with the resources we have and the time we have to deliver opportunities for people to serve. We try to make it easy on you. Are we doing the best job on that? Well, I'll let you decide, but we try. But a lot of times people will leave that as an excuse of, well, there's nothing for me to do. Well, here's the deal. I have no gifts as far as being special. I think like Steve as far as, what am I? I still found a way to get plugged in. I still found a way to show up and pull weeds or usher or stack chairs. And that leads to opportunities to get plugged in the body. And so a lot of times I think it's excuses, and people go, well, I'm built this certain way. It's like that. God doesn't say that. He says, come and serve me. And that's an important thing. In fact, it stunted my growth in the beginning till I got past that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.